Hi everyone, my name is Brenna Mead. I am from Indiana University and I have recently become the program director for Women in IT Networking at Supercomputing, WINS, and I'm here with Kate Robinson from ESNet, who I'll let introduce herself.
Hey everyone, Kate Robinson. I'm a network engineer at ESNet and I help run the WINS program with Brenna.
Since we have just a few attendees here, I thought we would kind of do an overview and go through the slides, but feel free to ask any questions as we go along, and we can have sort of a conversation if that works out better, or I'll just go through the slides and wait for questions at the end. So either way, but feel free to ask any questions along the way as you go. So the Women in IT Networking at SC program was a multi-year program initially funded by the NSF, and it was developed to address the prevalent to most people and pretty obvious to most people gender gap that exists in IT, particularly in network engineering and high-performance computing. The NSF funding actually ran out many years ago, but the program has sustained through collaborative funding and project management by UCAR, the Energy Sciences Network, and Indiana University. So the program has been around since the initial pilot program in 2015 and continues here into SC24 and will continue next year, again into SC25 and hopefully many years beyond that. As I said, it's collaboratively managed by a number of people. So Marla Meal and Jason Jarofsky and Wendy Huntul started the program with the NSF many years ago, and they still are on the management team assisting Kate and I as we continue the program at Indiana University and ESNet. So Marla Meal, manager at UCAR, myself, Kate, Wendy Huntul, Jason Zarowski. We also have some support from members from UCAR, Belinda Green and Susan Guastella, and then from Indiana University, Heather Hubbard. So the WINS program has a number of goals. The primary goal is to expand your skill sets, but the secondary goal is to expand your professional network and your soft skills, such as communication skills, public speaking, and other sort of non-network engineering, software development, non-technical skills. We are also trying to increase the diversity of the SCinet volunteer pool. So since SC20, we've been given a little bit higher preference to applicants that are from historically underrepresented areas, minority serving institutions, institutions like that. We continue to raise awareness of the issue of fewer women in IT. And we also hope to gather metrics, including participant surveys from both the mentors and the participants to understand the gender diversity gap in network engineering and continue to develop a sustainable program. So what does WINS do? So WINS enables 3 to 8 women per year to participate in SCinet. Those 3 to 8 participants are selected by a committee of experts from industry, R&E, actually from various areas of our community. And they are selected early in the year at the end of January. The SCinet experience provides an ideal professional development opportunity for engineers and technologists to develop not only technical skills, but as I mentioned, your professional network. SCinet provides the opportunity for you to work on some of the most cutting-edge software, cutting-edge hardware, and work with some of the best engineers in the world, at least in the R&D community and within industry. We also provide professional development opportunities. So we fund participants to attend other conferences and present at other conferences, to raise awareness of SCinet and the gender diversity gap. We've also funded members to go participate in the Quilt More Leadership program. And we also have quarterly alumni meetings where we all get together and discuss issues that are impacting women in technology, women in IT, as the years go by. Those alumni meetings were particularly interesting during COVID. I think the discussions that we had at those alumni meetings around the challenges that women were facing during COVID were particularly interesting because I think there were a number of challenges that others didn't necessarily experience that women were experiencing through the COVID. So those alumni meetings are really interesting and are attended by 20 to 30 people per meeting. So you might be asking, what is this SCinet and why are you sending people to it? So SCinet is the network that is created to support the supercomputing conference every year. It is two distinct but interconnected networks built by volunteers, and it is all donated equipment. So there's a production network. So that is the network that provides the wireless services, the booth connectivity, and internet access for attendees and exhibitors. And then there's the research network. The research network is where we get to play with the cutting edge toys and the cutting edge equipment and work really with some of the most amazing engineers in the industry. The research network supports the Network Research Exhibition and the SCiNet's Experimental Networks projects, XNet. SCiNet takes 1 year to design, 1 month to build, 1 week to operate, and 1 day to tear down. Yes, we tear it down in 1 day. And when that day comes, it's always both sort of cathartic, but also sad because it's like, wow, we spent a whole year on this and we took it down in a day. But it's an incredible experience once you experience it. So SCiNet has over 200 volunteers, and there are about 17 different teams with both soft skills and technical skills. So we have things like architecture, DevOps, wireless, experimental networks, routing, NetSec, but we also have teams like communications, contributor relations, and logistics, volunteer services. So we have a diverse set of teams that you can pretty much find a place for anybody on any of those teams that wants to participate in SCiNet. So both technical skills and other soft skills are available. This is the architecture from last year. Some things I will highlight is that we have contributors from all areas. So, we have Junipers working with Nokias. We have Cisco connecting to Arista. We have Sienna Gear working in partnership with Nokia. So we have immense contributor diversity, and it's one of the only places where this happens, where you see contributors working together to do something this large, and this amazing. So as you can see, there's a number of contributors here, and we have millions of dollars worth of donated equipment to make this architecture. So in 2024, we selected 6 participants. One of our participants did have to back out, so now we have 5 from various teams. So we'll have Danielle on the routing team, Drew on the fiber team, Rebecca on the communications team, who is on this call. Thank you for joining. Sahana on the Edge team, and then Sunshine on the DevOps team. So we have our WINS awardees this year are on a number of teams, lots of diversity in the teams that they chose. Each awardee is assigned a mentor, a person from their team to mentor them through the year. Many of those mentors are previous WINS awardees. We do try to match up the mentor as a previous WINS awardee to a new WINS awardee. If that's not possible, we offer mentorship opportunities to those who want to learn to be a mentor and want to work with the WINS awardees to make sure that they have a good year. This is our SC23 WINS participants. We had 6 last year, and as you can see, we have them doing some public speaking there in the bottom right. We have them in front of the LARC. And then if you look in the bottom left, that's all of the awardees that we had, alumni and from the current year. So if you look, there's over 20 of us there in that picture. So we've created a really sustainable program where women keep coming back to participate in SCiNet. They've grown and joined leadership development, or joined teams and become leaders on those teams, and also have joined the management team. So we're seeing pretty high retention with our WINS awardees, and many of them just continue to come back because they grow to love it. Myself included. This will be, I believe, my 7th year in SCiNet, minus the lost COVID years that we don't talk about. So as I mentioned, The WINS program has had a really significant impact on SCinet. In 2007, less than 10% of the volunteers were women. But in 2015 or 2023, we were closer to almost 25%. So 51 out of 219 of the volunteers were women, with 17 of those women coming from the WINS program. So as you can see from this graph, the blue indicates the number of women participating in SCinet, and since our inception in 2015 here, you can see that we've had a really positive impact on the number of women that are participating in SCinet just from that graph. And we're tabulating how many are participating in this year in 2024. So we'll be upgrading these graphs, and we're really excited to see how those numbers are for this next year. We're sure that they'll be significant again. Something that we didn't really anticipate with the WINS program was the retention and the continued desire to stay in SCinet, become a leader within SCinet, join the management team. And so what we've seen over the years is that many of our WINS awardees are growing within SCinet, becoming leaders. So the percentage of women in SCinet leadership has grown from a low of 8% at SC08 to 19% for SC23. So close to 20% of the SCinet leadership last year at SC23 was women. Women from the WINS program assumed SCinet leadership roles starting in SC17. So if you remember me saying, the program started in 2015. So it only took us 2 years to start trying to find those leadership roles and really grow in our SCinet development. So I think that's really exciting. For SC24, we have 9 WINS awardees with leadership roles, including myself as technical director of SCinet this year. So you may be wondering, it sounds like there's a lot of benefits to the participant, a greater professional development skills, more technical skills, a larger network of engineers and people around that you get to know. But what's the benefit for your institution? And I think that's really important, because this is a 3-week internship where we take you away from your home institution, your day-to-day job. So why would your job send you to this program? And the reasons that we find valuable are you get to attend and contribute to a really high-profile conference. So this is an international conference. The Supercomputing Conference has been going on for over 30 years and is very well known within the HPC community and across the world. You receive mentoring from industry professionals that you can take back to your institution. You represent and promote your home institution to the outside world. So all volunteers in SCinet get a lot of signage for their institution at the Supercomputing Conference to say that that institution allowed their employee to participate in SCinet. And so you get a lot of advertising and a lot of marketing due to the sort of signage that is around the program. Exposure to real world challenges. So by working on these cutting edge equipment, you get to see the problems before maybe your home institution would see them, or you get to learn new troubleshooting skills that you can take home to your institution as skills to help them in your day-to-day job. You also bring back new experiences to your team. So different experience and diverse experiences have been proven to create innovation and drive discussion. And so the ability to take home some of those things that you learned to your home institution only makes your team better at home. And then finally, just generally continuing to increase diversity in the networking field, whether it's gender diversity, intellectual diversity, professional network diversity, all of these things are positive in terms of your benefit to your home institution. And we rarely, we haven't had many people go back and go to their home institution and where their home institution said, well, what did you learn? And the people not be able to answer that, because it's so tangible what you learn. Not only do you learn, new skills technically, but, oh, well, I met these amazing engineers from Internet 2, and now I understand what the connectors are. Now I know who to reach out to when we're having problems. And now I have this complete network to work with when I have questions or concerns or need to get something done. So overall, we find that it's incredibly beneficial to your home institution. And then, as I mentioned, we do offer some other benefits. So We have an option for partial funding for year 2. So we've had a number of awardees come back and say, "Hey, I'd like to participate in another year. Can you help fund us?" And so we've either partially or fully funded members of the WINS program for another year, depending on need. So depending on whether or not your home institution is willing to partially fund you as well, or other circumstances around that. Again, as I mentioned, the WINS alumni group meets quarterly. And then funding travel and participation for other conferences. So we've sent uh, WINS awardees to Internet 2 Community Exchange, and had them participate in some of the eye-to-eye discussions and participate in those lunches, which we've seen a lot of value from those who went to those. And then the technology exchange as well. We're looking at options to sending people to the OFC, which is the optical conference that happens in March every year. And then we've also sent people to NRP, the National Research Platform. So we're always looking for opportunities and interest for sending WINS awardees, WINS alumni to other conferences to make sure that they're continuing to both develop their technical skills, but their professional development and their professional network, because you never know when you'll need that professional network to do the next thing that you want to do, or get help from your professional network. So we try to encourage alumni to come back to participate in other conferences and to be part of the alumni group, and try to keep those connections so that you feel like you always have a place to come back and work and kind of have people to come back to. So I went through that kind of fast, I know. So feel free to ask any questions. The WINS program is also now open to international participants. So that is new this year for SC25. SC25 is in St. Louis. Applications will open December 2nd and close January 31st, 2025. For more information about the program, do go to our website or just ask questions here. Kate and I are on all of the Slacks, the Internet 2 Slack, the SC Slack, there's probably some other Slacks that I'm on that I'm not even aware that I'm on. But feel free to reach out if you have any questions. And again, I just wanted to say thank you to Talitha for having us here. We continue to have a really good relationship with Internet 2. As I mentioned, we have an eye-to-eye awardee this year that is a WINS awardee, is from last year that is a WINS awardee this year, and we hope to continue that crossover relationship, and we hope to continue building this Internet 2 WINS relationship, as I think that us working together, all these programs working together, will only have a benefit for all of us. So thank you for joining, and I'll take any questions you may have now.
I guess I'll ask the first question just to maybe start some discussion. Hey, Bretta, were you a WINS awardee? How did you get involved?
Yes, thank you, Kate. So I was a WINS awardee for SC18. Actually, I had a really wonderful boss kind of sign me up for supercomputing in 2017 because it was in Denver, and he said, "Brella, you'll like it, just do it." And I kind of had no idea what I was getting myself into. He kind of just dropped me off, but I met Kate, who was a WINS awardee for 2017. And I met all the other WINS awardees, and I talked to them about the experience, and I said, "Wow, this sounds amazing." And so I applied for the next year. And I've been hooked ever since.
Now, Brenna, you have traveled, haven't you, internationally, and have talked about the WINS program now?
Yeah, so through my job, so I actually through the connections that I made at the WINS, through the WINS program and the connections I made at SC, I got a job at Indiana University working for the International Networks program. So I do a lot of international travel, and with that, I've been doing a lot of outreach and having a lot of discussions and doing a lot of presentations about WINS, just to, get the word out there, because as I mentioned, for me, WINS had a really positive impact on my life. It changed my life, and I love to share that experience, and I love to talk about it with other women, especially internationally. But also, I've done talks at TechX and NRP and a lot of other domestic conferences as well. So I do my best to try to get the word out, because I do think it's a really incredible thing that is a really incredible opportunity.
And for those that have joined a little late, apologies if you had trouble with connecting. I understand there may have been some confusion around the link and everything, but we thank you for joining us. And I am Talitha McGinnis, and I work for Internet 2. And Brenna had mentioned our I2I scholarship, in which I co-lead on that program. And the scholarship, or I should say, the Internet to Inclusivity Initiative, we work and partner with the WINS program, and we support each other's programs to help provide opportunities for women within IT that they otherwise might not have due to maybe financial constraints and things like that. And as Brenna was mentioning, we have had overlap where we've had some I2I scholarship recipients also be WINS participants. And as part of that, we have had WINS participants come to our conferences and speak and talk about their experience and stuff. And I know from previous conversations, some questions have arose from I2I scholarship recipients about the WINS application process, and if there's any tips or advice that you have for applying for the WINS program.
Kate, do you want to take that one?
Sure, I'll be happy to. So I'll say that one piece of advice I can give is certainly you want to make sure that you've talked to your supervisor at your job and make sure that they're supportive of you attending the conference and, you know, basically being away from your job for 3 weeks to focus on the experience at SCinet. And that is a really strong driver of when we look at the application, that's really the first thing that we look at. You have support from your current management. And then also, you know, having an area of interest based on one of the SCinet teams, and I actually list this on the application, and, you know, really a strong driver for why you'd like to participate in that team and why you'd like to learn more about that topic that the team focuses on, and that's also really helpful. And really, we're looking for people who are interested in learning more. I mean, that's one of the big things about SCinet. Is being, you know, open-minded, open to meeting new people, and open to learning new things. Yeah, I'm just reading Amber's question in the chat here, and it's about sort of some of the ripple effects of the WINS program, and if WINS awardees have gotten other job opportunities out of the WINS program, and really they have. And we are looking to track some of the statistics on how many women come through the program and then do get job opportunities afterwards that may be related to the participation in the program. We certainly don't want to sell that too hard because we want the home institution to also reap some of the benefits of the WINS program, you know, getting an employee that has more of a larger professional network in the R&E and HPC community, and is learning new skills, but not a place where you send your employee and they get a different job. But we also want women to have any opportunity that they would like. So we have seen a lot of women get opportunities after they've participated in the WINS program. Certainly, we have several that have gone to Internet 2, which I think has been really great. And then Brenna and I both left our jobs that we had when we were WINS awardees. Now we work at other places that we got the opportunity by participating in the WINS program. So we're certainly one of the examples. And I think maybe Amber as well to a certain extent. So yeah, we have seen that. We would like to start tracking it, but we also don't want that to be like a main selling point.
I would add too that so this year we have our first WINS awardee that is SCinet chair, which is a really incredible thing for the WINS program and for Angie Asmus. And she, when she initially started in the WINS program, she was sort of just a manager, and she's seen a lot of growth internal to her university, Colorado State. Now she runs the entire network services for the campus. So she's had several promotions internal to CSU. since going through the WINS program in 2016. So she was a very early awardee, and now she's the SCinet chair this year. And she's a really good example of sort of staying at your institution and learning and growing within your home institution, and so she's a really cool example of that.
I'm reading the question from Mackenzie, or from Sri. General question, can we have a copy of the presentation and the recording? Yes. We are recording this and it will be posted out on the Internet2 website within this week. It'll get posted probably either this week or next week. So it'll be available out there. And then Mackenzie, I may have missed this at the beginning. What does cost look like? What would my institution be responsible for covering?
For WINS applicants who successfully earn the award, there is no cost to your home institution for year one. So if you get the WINS award, we fully 100% cover travel, per diem, and room and board at the SC conference for the 3 weeks that you're there. So 0 cost to your home institution the first year. And then, as I said or mentioned, if you come back a second year, we work with your home institution on what costs the home institution could cover and how much WINS would be able to support you to come back. So, but for that first year, 100%, 0 cost to your home institution.
And also 0 cost to the awardee. I don't know if you said that.
And I will say, just similar to the I2I scholarship program that we have, having a cohort of women to go through the experience with is really invaluable. Making those connections and sharing those similar experiences, forming those bonds, if you will, that's something really kind of priceless and a main part, I feel, as part of the experience and being part of the WINS program.
I think one of the funnest things for me as an alumni is going to other conferences and running into WINS awardees. Like Amber, or I went to a community exchange and there were like 10 of us there that were just from various institutions. And it was, and we had dinner, and it really made the whole experience so much better to just have, someone to hang out with, people I knew, and especially them being women, was just really incredible.
Well, if nobody else has any other questions, we can kind of wrap up. If anybody does end up having questions after the fact, you can always reach out. I will send an email out to everybody letting you know when the recording was published. So if you want to go back and look at it, and also can provide a copy of the presentation. And within that email, I can provide contact information. So if you want to email one of us and ask any questions after the fact, you can do that.
Yeah, thank you for joining today. And we send out quite a few emails when the application opens. And so keep your eyes open. And if you yourself want to volunteer or apply for the program, or anybody that would be a good fit, certainly send them our way.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. You get a little time back. Thank you, Brenna and Kate, for your time and for doing this presentation for us. I appreciate it. And we will talk to you all later.